We are in year number 25 of the WNBA. On this Saturday afternoon, we sit in Chicago, Illinois, and Wintrust Arena, which is the home to the Chicago Sky, taking on the Connecticut Sun. A look at the WNBA standings. Connecticut has been one of the better teams this year. They've lost one of their best players, Jonquel Jones, overseas for a bit, so they've slipped a bit. And the Sky, arguably one of the hottest teams in the league. They have won the last 4. We welcome you in, and we are so proud to bring you the WNBA on CBS, and I am pleased and honored to be joined by one of the league's legends, Lisa Leslie. I'm Lisa Byington, and Lisa, I mentioned the resurgence of Chicago in large part because they're healthier. Candace Parker had to miss some time with a left ankle injury. Now she's back, and she's made quite a difference.
Well, when you think about Candace Parker, you're talking about a proven champion who makes players around her better, and she's done just that in Chicago. But her ability to shoot the 3 ball puts so much pressure on the defense, and then there's her ability to run the floor. But I love most her leadership. She's the veteran on the team, and she's making players around her better. Now, when you look on the other end, there's Bonner, who also a 2-time WNBA champion and knows what it means to get her team to that next level. Coming off of 10 points and 10 rebounds, she will have to do a lot because they're missing their veteran in Jonquel Jones.
Yeah, one of the best scorers and the best rebounder so far in the league. Jonquel Jones overseas playing in the Eurobasket tournament. Here are your starting lineups. Kyla Charles getting the start again in back-to-back games. Remember, she put up 15 points against Chicago on Thursday, and it's the same lineup for the Chicago Sky. They are actually undefeated this year with that lineup. And Candace Parker back, Allie Quigley is back. Stephanie Dolson had to miss some time. She was qualifying for the 3-on-3 Olympic team, which Team USA on the women's side was able to do. And they look much, much different in this 4-game win streak. And the tip is set, and some WNBA basketball on CBS.
And I gotta say, I love the pinstripe uniforms. They look so good out there. Love all of the new uniforms that have come out in this 25th WNBA season.
Yeah, nod to Nike. They've done a fantastic job. Each team in the WNBA has a choice of about 3 different versions of uniforms here this year. The step-through move defended nicely by Brianna Jones against Steph Dolson. Nice
defense. And Steph Dolson, big girl on the inside. I love the fact that she's just going to put that pressure on Jones this whole game. Keeping that ball inside is going to be key.
Well, Brianna Jones has to be key again. They're missing a lot with the absence of Jonquel Jones, not to mention Alyssa Thomas out with the Achilles injury. And there is Jones. Tight rims that time for the visitors on their first possession.
And you are so right, Lisa, with Alyssa Thomas out. Really, Connecticut Sun missing their 2 best players, and their real push to get to the playoffs. Really, they need both those players out there.
Tough defense there that time by Bonner. That is the matchup to watch. Candace Parker, Dawana Bonner had a little back and forth going on when these 2 teams met on Thursday night. Breon January again gives it up to Jones and draws the contact, and you can count it.
Well, Brianna Jones did a nice job of using her body, but she really dipped into Dolson, as you can see, still on the floor. That was a pretty big hit she took there, but nice aggressive move. And this is what you want from the big girl. I feel like Connecticut realized that their bigs didn't quite show up last game. They were very happy after talking to Coach Poole about their guard play. So it's important for the bigs to come out and be aggressive. I'm not sure she meant to necessarily hurt Dole, but to be aggressive going to the basket is actually how you want to start the game.
Well, probably no surprise. You know, we were talking about your fandom, for lack of a better term, of some of the good post players here in the league.
Oh, for sure. You know, I've been a fan, especially just with the whole pandemic and being home watching these young ladies play last season in the bubble, or in the wubble, I should say. Great. Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Liz Cambage, just doing a phenomenal job in the battle on the West.
A little That'll be Chicago basketball. Look at Courtney Vandersloot, who finds Kalia Copper. What a play by Chicago.
Nice play, backdoor cut. Copper, nice with the finish. And Copper, she a player who I've really grown to love watching. Her tenacity, her defense, and again, Coach Wade talked about really her being the soul and heart and soul of the team, and you can see why.
I loved your question to him where they decided to re-sign her even last year. He said there was some questioning, but the way she's performing, there's no questioning about signing her now. Kyla Charles, no questioning that she's trying to assert herself as a starter this year.
Absolutely. Kyla Charles is doing a nice job and really known for her defense, but as her offense picks up, the Sun can really appreciate her ability to score on the outside.
Candace Parker again feeding Copper that time, too strong off the back iron. And again, some contact made. Diamond DeShields trying to defend the cut there. She picks up her first personal.
And Coach Wade just hit with the technical on the side as he slammed his hands, I believe, in frustration with his player, but the official still not taking any kindness to that.
And Bonner makes good on the technical free throw. James Wade is going to be a bad poker player. I'll just say that. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. His players understand that. And he tries to bring in someone like a Kalia Copper to sign someone who understands that, appreciates that, and responds to that kind of coaching. And an offensive foul that time, a little bit too much of a push-off on Bonner. It's her first.
And sometimes we call that a makeup call, too. But Bonner just doing a little bit too much shoving down there. Kalia Copper does a nice job. Kyla Copper does a nice job of taking that charge.
Kalia Copper only has the only bucket here for the Sky. 1 of 4 shooting going into this possession. Vandersloot out to Copper. DeShields now with 8 on the shot clock. Someone's got to take it, and the little fadeaway is short. Jones has some space to work with, being defended here by Parker. And force that one up.
Candace Parker doing a nice job, just using her length, not going for the fake. That is a nice veteran move. She's got to do a better job on the inside, offensively attacking. She's looking to pass and be a facilitator, but I'd like to see her take it to the basket. You can see sometimes you have to play with the rhythm of the game as Vandersloot finishes on the inside. You can see that this is going to be a more physical game. The officials are going to let you play. That's the time you really want to start out aggressive, because the more aggressive team usually gets those calls early.
It was physical on Thursday. There's a nice runner by Breon January. It was physical Thursday, and remember, these two teams meeting twice in a matter of 3 days. That is sort of the COVID scheduling, if you will, this year in the WNBA. And from distance, Diamond DeShields with her first points.
And Diamond DeShields, just a player I really love. I love her tenacity, her ability to shoot the 3-ball and get to the basket. Looking for her to be really aggressive today as well.
Looking for Bonner again. She's got a lot of early touches here for Connecticut. That time the block by Parker.
Yes, the block by Parker, so she's saying not today, not today.
And she can lead the break like she did on this possession. Copper can't get the finish. A 3 for 8 shooting start here for Chicago as Charles takes it all the way in for 2.
I love that. Kyla Charles, again, another young player, only 1 year, but out of Maryland. And you know, those Maryland players always playing hard and love to go hard to the basket. Young player, I can only see an upside with her. She's going to continue to get better with her ability to shoot from the outside, but it's her defense, and that's the reason why she's a starter.
Brandy Poole has talked to us as the acting head coach here today, as Kurt Miller, of course, is away taking care of some family matters. But they both said, hey, starting Kyla Charles was literally on Thursday a game-time decision. The decision to keep Charles in the lineup is all hers as long as she executes like this. Fans of all ages taking this one in.
Oh,
maybe a future hooper. Who knows? Connecticut with the 10-7 lead over Chicago. Hey, AT&T WNBA All-Star game is back. Head over to WNBA.com/vote or download the new WNBA app to vote daily until June 27th. Lisa Leslie, you were what, 8 times you got to play in that game?
Yes, and I loved every minute of it. All-Star game is always one of my favorites because it's the best of the best. And at that time, the East versus the West, so that was a great rivalry as well.
A little bit of a wrinkle this year in terms of the national team being involved in the All-Star game.
And I also played in one of those, which is tough because it's tough for all the All-Stars. Once you put the best in the world together to play against them, it's no fun, I don't think, for the All-Stars, but it will be a great weekend and a great challenge for those players to go up against the best in the world, against our Team USA.
Well, it will be a tight schedule up to that point, trying to get as many games as possible here for the WNBA before the league will take a break for the Olympic break, and it returns in August as Sloot has another bucket and cuts the lead to 1.
And you see Sloot, no one really stopping the ball there for Connecticut, and Coach talked about that. Coach Poole, them wanting to do a better job of stopping them in transition. In that time, not so much.
This is a Connecticut basketball team that held Chicago, let's not forget, to 31 points just in the first half on Thursday. A tough defense, a tough defensive team. They have been all season long, and in particular on Thursday night. They get another opportunity, though, offensively on this possession, and it's January who makes good on it.
Very nice job, and you got to give Jones a lot of credit for getting on the floor and helping them to get that second possession.
Yeah, that's your 5 player. That's your center getting on the floor. Now, Kurt Miller and his staff have preached toughness and physicality. That's been their MO in really his 6 seasons that he's been in with the Sun. Kyla Charles trying to look inside, looking for some paint touches, it looks like, early, and she goes down hard. I mean, talk about physicality.
I'm glad she's able to get up because she ran into Vandersloot so hard, who tries to step in to take that charge, but then decides not to. I like the penetration again. Charles coming out very aggressive, putting a lot of pressure on the Sky defense.
Kyla Charles, a Maryland product. They've got a lot of Terps on this Connecticut Sun roster. You're looking at Brianna Jones, Kyla Charles, Stephanie Jones, who's the younger sister of Brianna Jones, and of course Alyssa Thomas, who we mentioned, is out with the Achilles injury.
And Brenda Fries has to be happy with her players that have gone on and really having a lot of success here in the WNBA.
And a foul committed off of the missed free throw attempt. That's Emma Cannon, who's entered into the game, and Ruthie Hebert is whistled for the first personal. Now, Cannon had an 8-point game on Thursday off the bench. You see Brandy Poole, who got some good bench production, not only from Cannon, but also from Natisha Heidemann off the bench as well.
Yeah, both players young in their second year, and this type of experience and opportunity to get out here, they have to make the most of their minutes, both averaging between 10 and 13 minutes. And this is where you're fighting for a job. And you realize that this is not just a game, but it is a job, and you have to come out here and put in your hard effort, like that veteran just did right there with DeWanna Bonner down low.
Yeah, Cannon making that happen, though. The offensive rebound and shovel pass for the assist, and now it's a 15-9 advantage. Biggest lead is 6 points.
When you look there, another great offensive rebound. She pulls that out, Cannon passes it over. Nice drop off to Bonner underneath.
The last possession, Azarae Stevens whistled for the offensive foul. She's a player that only played 6 minutes for Chicago on Thursday. She picked up a quick 3 fouls and wasn't really able to contribute like she would like to.
Yeah, the foul situation, you have to start to recognize exactly how the game's being called. And then take it slow. Set those screens. Make sure you're solid, staying still. Don't do too much physically underneath until you can kind of get into a little bit of a rhythm, because it's very tough. And I have been in that situation many times where you're in foul trouble, you're in and out, and you never get a great rhythm for the game because of that situation.
And they certainly are hoping for better things to come here today for Stevens. And another miss here for Chicago, a 4 of 13 start for the Sky. And Connecticut will take it out from the sideline. There's a look at Natisha Heidemann off the bench, averaging approaching actually some career highs this year, putting up 19 points against Indiana, playing a career high 37 minutes against Seattle. Here's Bonner, and that one rolling off. But she'll have a couple free throws coming up, but she wanted that basket.
Nice execution there for Connecticut. You know, the pick and roll, it's classic. You know it's coming, but so tough to stop. And Bonner just does a nice job with the pump fake, finding a way to get fouled.
1:33 left to play here in this first quarter. Connecticut has led from the start. Trust Arena. A 17-9 advantage for the Connecticut Sun. I mentioned that Connecticut has led the entire way here so far in this first quarter, looking to get back on the winning track. They've dropped the last two, but this is their third game playing without Jonquel Jones. And arguably their biggest and best maybe defensive rebounder, let alone what she can do offensively for this team.
Yeah, and when you think about Jonquel Jones and just what she brings to the team, this team right now missing 21 points, 10 rebounds, and she shoots almost 50% from three-point range, and you're talking about your post player. So right now you're looking at players stepping up huge for her to fill that gap.
And I want to mention, too, I mentioned briefly that this team, Connecticut, is playing without their head coach, Kurt Miller, who actually reached out to us this morning and to give us a little bit more perspective on what he's had to deal with. This was his quote to us: "I learned minutes before our game on Sunday against Seattle that my mom had a stroke while in the hospital. She remains in the hospital but is recovering and progressing each day. I appreciate the support by Sun leadership to allow me to travel home and spend the last 4 days with her in our hometown in Pennsylvania." He also shared with us that he is on his way back. That's why he was up so early this morning, and he's hoping to go through the league's COVID protocol to be able to actually join the team maybe as early as practice coming up on Monday.
Wow. Well, our prayers and thoughts are with Coach Miller. Hopefully his mom can have a strong recovery. My mom also had 2 strokes in 2021, and she's doing well. So there is hope. Coach Miller, we wish your mom a speedy recovery.
Yeah, in his 4 seasons here with Connecticut, he's had a stable assistant coaching staff. And you saw Brandy Poole. Chris Kokanis is also kind of running the defense for the team, and Chicago is actually his scout, and he's very confident. Both of those assistants have been with him in his entire time at Connecticut. With one on the shot clock, my goodness!
Nice.
Dana Evans with a little pizzazz.
That's great, and we saw Dana Evans in the NCAA tournament, and no one who has ever missed, she's not shy to take that three-point shot, but she can make it from the logo, folks. She can cross half court and make it. Her range is unlimited.
And part of the trade early June for Shyla Heel, who was their first-round draft pick. Only 19 years old is Shyla Heel, and Dana Evans, as you mentioned, has that collegiate experience. Another offensive rebound here for the Sun. They'll go back to the free throw line, but Dana Evans has not been shy to shoot the basketball.
Nice pump fake, and DeWanna Bonner, a great shot blocker, so that was a nice move for Evans to knock down that three. But when you talk about offensive rebounds, here you have Charles again with another offensive rebound. And one of the reasons why Connecticut thought that they lost on Thursday was because of their lack of rebounds and offensive boards. So here they are now turning the tables on Chicago and winning the battle on the boards.
3 offensive rebounds that have led to 5 second chance points as Charles makes good. And boy, she's having a really good first quarter. Leading all scorers right now with 8 points. She's missed 1 free throw, but from the floor hasn't missed a shot yet. And the largest lead of the game, plus 10. +9 right here, and another offensive foul. Chicago's having a tough time trying to find some rhythm.
They really are. When you look at this cut right here by Copper, she really just runs over Cannon there underneath.
Shake of the head there by James Wade. It's the first personal on Kalia Copper. Well, shot clock not in play for what could be the final possession here of the quarter. Heidemann getting the screen, the high screen from Cannon. And Chicago with some smothering defense, still some time to get a shot off, and Evans can't quite get it done. Well, an impressive start, in particular for Connecticut, who led the entire first 10 minutes against the Sky. Looking for a little revenge after dropping one on Thursday. The CBS Sunday Night Movies are back in honor of Juneteenth. Join us in watching the broadcast premiere of the powerful Academy Award-nominated film Selma. The CBS Sunday Night Movies tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on CBS. Well, this was in the first quarter. Candace Parker only played 5 minutes in the quarter. And getting stretched out and worked on. She didn't return until now, where she begins the second quarter for Chicago.
Happy to see her back out there. In order for Chicago to really make a push in this game, they need Candace Parker on the floor.
Feed nicely done there by Connecticut as Brianna Jones, the recipient of that pass.
Yeah, and Jones doing a nice job. She uses her body very well. Ruthie Hebert needs to do a much better job of pushing her out further from the basket.
Allie Quigley trying to size it up. Quigley, that's her, only played in about 3 minutes in the first quarter. That's just her second shot in the game. And Cannon again trying to feed Jones. They're looking inside quite frequently in the first quarter, and they've done it the first couple of possessions here. As Hebert gets wrapped up, it'll stay Chicago basketball.
Well, I thought that time the Sky did a nice job of making an adjustment. You saw Evans dropping down, really giving help to the post, because before it's been sort of a wide open lane, and they need to do that. If the shots are coming from the inside, it's going to be important for some of those guards to sort of dig down deep in there and when those posts get the ball.
And off to Vandersloot, who kicks it back out to Parker, who sat, like we had said, for a majority of the time, really the last 5 minutes of the first quarter, with an undisclosed injury, if it is an injury. A rebound there to Vandersloot. And feeding Steph Dolson nicely.
And that's the transition basketball that Chicago needs to do more of, continue to get out and run. It's happening a little bit slow, but that pick and roll has been very effective, especially down the middle of the court.
To the wing for Jasmine Thomas, who had a nice game on Thursday. She's taken it baseline, can't convert. And on the push, here comes Chicago. It's what they want to do. They want to push pace. They want to run in transition. The offensive rebound and put back by Copper.
Well, that is what I've just talked about. They are right on cue. That's where their game is, and they're missing that right now. Their defense leads to great offense and transition baskets, and they need more of that.
4 points for Copper. She's the leading scorer for Chicago this year, and Cannon didn't even think twice about pulling the trigger.
Nice bucket. She's shooting 75% from three. When I read that, I'm like, but 75%? So, yeah, you want to see her shoot that three ball more often, I'm sure.
It's a small sample size with that 75%, but still very efficient, and Copper goes back to back. Well, Connecticut, in terms of bench points per game, they're one of actually the worst teams in the league there. So if they can get Cannon shooting consistently and efficiently, and someone like Heidemann who's got the ball right now, certainly a plus for them as they try to bide this time, trying to play without Jonquel Jones.
Bodies are flying everywhere. This is a very physical game.
Here's Quigley. She's short, and Parker tried the tip. And a foul there on the floor. You like to play in physical games like this?
Absolutely. I just love, this is the deal. Whatever the officials allow, you know what kind of game you're going to get. And from the start, I said it was a very physical game. The Suns did a nice job of attacking the basket, which they came out the more physical team. They are the ones who are 6 from 8 from the free throw line, whereas Chicago, 0 free throws. 0. And that means they're not being the aggressors.
They get the bucket there on that possession and cuts the lead here to 6. Yeah, Chicago had committed 8 personal fouls in the first quarter to just 1 for Connecticut. And here's Cannon, who's got another open look. Chicago can come at you quick, and they can come at you often. And during this 4-game winning streak, they've been averaging about 90 points per game offensively. Quickly, once again, around that screen. It's her sweet spot.
I believe if Thomas could get that back, she would play that. She did come over the top of the screen, but no hand up on that shot. Quigley, you have to know, shoots 50% from three-point range. She is a phenomenal shooter, and you don't want to foul her because she shoots 91% from the floor as well.
Here's Cannon again, and another defensive stop for the Sky, so momentum is there. Is Quigley leaking out for 2, and it's a 2-point game, and a timeout by Connecticut.
Quigley right on time, 91% from the free throw line, so you know that she can put the ball in the basket quickly, whether it's from the three-point line or running the floor. But there, the Sky, 3 transition baskets in a row, and that's made the difference. When you look at the replay here, Candace Parker puts pressure on the team because no one stops her. Quigley out in front. Biggs just a little too late.
Let's take a look at the upcoming WNBA national TV schedule. We got a couple of games on CBS and CBS Sports Network, as well as an important game tomorrow night on ESPN as well. And just the stage continues to get bigger for this league in year number 25, and it is absolutely just wonderful to see.
Yes, Lisa, I'm so happy for all of these young ladies involved because it's been a hard fight getting here, and I'm so happy that the product is great out on the court. Social media has had an amazing impact. Thank you to all of the fans, the new fans that the WNBA has acquired, and for all those little girls out there who are watching, who are growing up wanting to be a professional basketball player here in our country. It's been amazing.
Extremely well said. And actually, coming up at halftime, we are just days away from the 25th anniversary of the game that you played in. It's the first game between the Liberty and the Sparks here in the league, as Sloot has a beautiful reverse off the glass for 2.
Yes, the WNBA 25th anniversary was such an exciting game with LA versus the New York Liberty. And when you look at that start of that, just phenomenal what we were able to do, but where the league has come from. I just look at from the start to now. We couldn't have dreamt of it being so amazing, and so many women having the opportunity to play professional basketball here in our country, for the salaries to go up, for us to have a platform to bring social awareness to our country. It's been phenomenal.
We will feature that coming up at halftime, so that's something that you'll want to check out. It's a shot clock violation here for Connecticut, and talk about a tale of 2 different quarters. The first quarter was all Connecticut, and now the second quarter is turning out to be all Chicago here so far.
Well, you know, it goes back to, Lisa, the team that is most aggressive, the team that's going to the basket the hardest, the team that is really putting a lot of pressure, getting second and third chance opportunities on the offensive boards. That's the team who's willing, if you will, you know, this game, and it turns tides, and that's why it's called a game of runs. Because one team will start to take that run, and then another team will either respond or they won't. And so Chicago's doing a nice job of responding right now.
They've responded. When they were trailing by 10, they have an 8-0 run, one of those runs that you're talking about. And you see this last play was off of Heidemann last. Chicago retains and gets another opportunity. Shot clock resets to 14. Quigley now feeding Dolson, trying to work her way around.
Dolson, nice job. The big girl inside, back to basket, nice little drop step. I love the finish. And Bonner, what can she do with her? They had to switch, and she ended up on the bigger post player. She was a little bit too small. Stephanie Dolson on the inside.
January with the pump fake, one dribble pull-up. That one pops out. It's tied at 28. Chicago looking for its first lead of the game. And DeShields will take a trip to the free throw line to perhaps bring it to him.
And I love the fact that DeShields continued to push the ball. They didn't really stop her from getting there. And that transition offense has been something that the Sky have to continue to do if they want to continue to take this game. I think putting the pressure on the guards for Connecticut, and they've got to do a better job, they really do, of stopping the ball and having that person who has it to make a second and third pass. But right now, Connecticut not doing a great job of containing that fast break.
First free throws of the game for DeShields and Chicago, and this is the first lead of the game after she makes a couple. Under 4 to play here in this first half. Bonner trying to feed Jones. And Steph Dolson whistled for another foul.
And I like what Connecticut's trying to do. They're doing a really good job of trying to get that high-low pass. They're looking at it because that isolates the defense. It forces the defense to try to stay man-to-man and not help. So, again, they're continuing to try to put pressure on the Sun defensively on the inside.
Here's Thomas with a pull-up. Mentioned she had a 20-point game, her first 20-point game of the season on Thursday. Vandersloot out to Dolson. Quite know what she wanted to do with it. And another foul on Steph Dolson. This one an offensive foul, and that'll be number 3 on Dolson.
Dolson had a missed opportunity. Candace Parker wide open underneath, and she didn't see her. But this moving screen trying to do a dribble handoff instead, uses her butt. That is an illegal screen. I'm not sure what she's fussing about, but you can't use all your goods, girlfriend, on the screen.
Here's the thing with Steph Dolson. When she came back after qualifying for the 3-on-3 Olympic team, she said, you know, if we complain in a 3-on-3 tournament, we immediately get teed up. So my goal is to not argue every call as now I get to the WNBA, but I think that was really short-lived.
Very short-lived, which is true, because when you play internationally, the officials do not play. The game is totally different, and they will tell you, like, hush. You know, you don't get to say a word to them. So you learn to play without talking. You kind of got to turn into like a Kawhi Leonard. Just don't say one word to the officials. Otherwise, don't show any emotion, because you will get teed up quickly.
Well, that foul put Steph Dolson now on the bench. And we got a whistle back the other way. And a push-off and an offensive foul on Breon January this time for Connecticut.
And Breon's pleading her case that she stopped and she was holding. But, well, there you go. So she's holding, but then eventually she has to move and allow the player to pass through, and she doesn't do that. She impedes her progress.
So the officials today are going to earn their work here, getting an earful from both sides, from multiple players. There's a steal from Jones, and Connecticut trying to push. Bonner gives it back up to Jones, and we're tied at 30.
Well, you knew the left dribble and the up and under was coming from Bonner, but just missing the player. Candace Parker fell down, and that put a lot of pressure on the defense to guard both posts.
Now Stevens shoots 42% from back there when she gets a look, and that's a big one to put Chicago ahead.
Stevens is a player, you know, great player coming out of UConn, who I believe has so much potential. She can dribble the ball. She's tall. At 6'6", a nice wingspan. She just has to continue to get opportunity and time out there. And with experience, she will definitely continue to get better and help the Sky.
2:18 left to play here in this first half. The first quarter was Connecticut, and Chicago has showed a little second quarter punch. Best scorer in the league, the best rebounder in the league, Jonquel Jones, overseas playing for Bosnia and Herzegovina for the Eurobasket tournament. And this is exactly what they're missing. So the big question now with Connecticut is who kind of steps in and fills in some of those shoes. It's a collective thing. But Breonna Jones, you've been impressed with here so far today.
I have been impressed. The big girl's inside, and she's battling, you know, and that's what it takes. You got to get inside. They have got to figure out where they're going to get those points from. And it's going to take someone on the inside with that presence. Breonna Jones doing a nice job. 7 points and 3 rebounds thus far.
Connecticut's got to try to figure out where the defense is coming from, as Copper draws the foul. I believe it is going to be on Jones.
I thought Jones was going to be right on cue with a block, but instead she picks up that foul.
Doesn't always script out that way.
I was hoping she'd like, just as soon as I said her name, and then boom, a big block, but no, not today. She puts me in the mindset of a Natalie Williams that used to play for Utah. Natalie and I battled so much. She went to UCLA, same size. You know, Natalie, very talented player. She was a lefty, though, that could jump over the top of anybody, but she definitely puts me in that presence of just inside, really putting a lot of pressure on the defense.
It's quite the comparison. Well, Chicago in the second quarter has shot 56%. Only 9 points that Connecticut has scored in the second quarter after putting up 21 in the first. Here is Bonner.
And Bonner is really off with her shots. I mean, she usually is so much more accurate, and she's missing a lot, and that could be because of the pressure and the long length of Candace Parker on the inside.
For Stevens, she has one of those, but not that time. Rebound to Kyla Charles. To your point about Bonner, she shot 3 of 16 on Thursday against the same Chicago team. And 2 of those 3 buckets were really on putbacks. Here's a steal and a takeaway. Copper and Diamond to Shields. So fast, so quick, it leads to a transition 2.
There you go. That transition bucket, that's what the Chicago Sky want to do. Rebound and run.
This is the largest lead of the game now for the Sky, and with 1:12 left to play here in this first half, Brandy Poole and Connecticut forced to call another timeout.
Well, they have to call a timeout because there's 2 things happening wrong for Connecticut. One, the rebound. They are one and done and not getting that second chance opportunity now the way they were in the first quarter. And then secondly, someone has got to stop the ball in transition and get out and run. And with them not doing both, the Sky's putting a lot of pressure on them and forcing really nice transition baskets.
Kick off an afternoon of sports tomorrow at 1 Eastern. And coverage with our all-female hosted sports talk show, including Lisa Leslie. They discuss the important topics and highlight the women that are changing the game. And we need to talk tomorrow at 1 on CBS. Among some of the special guests, Seattle Storm guard Jewel Lloyd, I hear.
We need to talk. We just love being a part of that show and having the opportunity to talk to so many sports greats and us just talking everything from football to tennis to hockey, you name it, including social justice. So, yeah, you guys tune in and we need to talk.
That's one thing that I love about this show is that you don't just have to limit it to women talking about women's sports. You know, women,
for sure.
Women can work in men's sports. Women can talk men's sports. And so that's the one thing that I've always appreciated with this show that's lasted year after year.
Absolutely. My husband will be the first to tell you. I'm like, is the football game on? What are we doing? You know, so to have a woman who loves sports is an advantage for everyone in the world.
Lisa Leslie with Lisa Byington here, and we're proud to bring you the WNBA here on CBS as well. Big day of sports here on CBS. NWSL will be following this one as well. So showcasing a lot of women's sports here on this Saturday. As Bonner tries to muscle her way in, she draws the foul, much to the dislike here of Candace Parker.
And when you look at this, Candace Parker does a nice job with the closeout, but maybe just a little bit too much body, maybe? Huh. I don't know about that call. But
I think she's got a case.
Yeah. And look at her face. She's a person of many faces. I love
I mean, you were with her since day one when she was a rookie.
Day one. Baby Candace is who I got. And she's just so much fun. Even when she came in, a phenomenal talent. And we used to talk about everything from what to eat. Like, Candace, you got to eat, sweetheart. We have a game. Like, she wouldn't eat. And she knows her diet is great now, but before, not so great. Getting in the weight room. I'm like, Candace, we need to lift weights. I'm like, you didn't even pick up a weight, sweetheart. You got, in order for you to survive in this league, you have got to lift weights. So we laugh so much about all the things me as a veteran, you know, sharing with her that now she has to share with her teammates. It's just come full circle.
And Smooth and Silk, right?
That's right.
That was the nicknames. You were Smooth, she was Silk?
That's right. Smooth and Silk on the court.
I think those nicknames still apply even today.
Yeah, we had a great time playing for the Los Angeles Sparks.
And what a story it is now that, you know, she chose to leave the LA Sparks to come play for her hometown team, and just so much excitement. I've talked to season ticket holders here in Chicago who specifically bought tickets to watch Candace Parker play this year.
Yes, and you know, I spoke with Candace right after that because, you know, part of it breaks my heart, but the other part is you have to do what's best for you and your family. And, you know, she was just like, Smooth, I just want to, you know, finish out where my family can see me. And even today, you know, her mom and dad, Sarah and Larry Parker, are here. Her big brother, Anthony's here. Daughter, Layla's here. So, you know, family first. And when she said that, I'm like, all right, okay, fine.
I get it. Brianna Jones with a nice fadeaway cuts the lead here to 5. And Jones now in double figures, the first player to get their 10 points here in this game. About a 4-second differential between game and shot clock. Here's Vandersloot with 6 to shoot, and the kick out to Copper, too strong. Parker keeps it alive. Nearly got the and one.
I know she wish she could get that one back with, again, a nice offensive rebound. And I'm sure Bonner, who not complaining right now, so maybe she didn't feel like she got fouled, but Candace comes up with this huge offensive rebound. That was much needed, but I'm surprised she didn't finish that. Come on, Candace, put that in.
Still coaching.
Always.
Still coaching her up. Look at the last 3 games and the difference that she has made. I mean, you look at the numbers with Candace Parker. They're averaging about 86 points per game. Without her, about 10 fewer points at about 76.
And it's clear to me that Candace is not 100% right now as far as physically, but she's going to always come out and give it her all. And you can appreciate that because just her presence on the floor, maybe not have, you know, the stat lines going all the way across, but her presence on the floor gives her teammates confidence, and she still makes players around her better.
Final play here of the half, final few seconds. Charles lets it fly, nearly beat the buzzer. And Chicago outscoring Connecticut by 15 in the second quarter to take a 40-34 halftime edge. Candace Parker still not done pleading her points. Hey, when we come back, we will talk about the very first game that was played almost to the day 25 years ago. You won't want to miss it after this.
Faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the faith that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun. Let us march on till victory is won.
The sights and sounds of the pregame celebrations of Juneteenth, now a national holiday commemorating the emancipation of slavery in the United States. You saw players wearing shirts honoring the league's commitment to social justice. Lift Every Voice and Sing was played. And certainly, as we know, the WNBA has been at the forefront for being leaders of social justice and social change.
Absolutely, and I'm just so proud that I'm here to be a witness for this. Juneteenth means a lot to our people, but hopefully the people of America to recognize what slavery meant to this country, but what our people meant to this country and how we helped build this country, and to be recognized in this way. I'm sure our ancestors are cheering in heaven.
A lot of progress that has been made, but still plenty more work that needs to be done. And in the first few seconds, about 21 seconds to be exact, Steph Dolson picks up foul number 4.
Oh, wow. And Stephanie Dolson doing all she can to try to stay out here, but she, as they say, breaks the plane, and it's tough for post players to realize. But that airspace above Jones's head is hers, and Stephanie Dolson is leaning into it. Therefore, it's a foul.
And she will get subbed out. 4 personal fouls now for Dolson. Azuree Stevens checks in. This was an interesting stat. The Sky are actually 5-0. When Steph Dolson can play 20 or more minutes. That's how important she can be for this team.
And that's interesting because right now she's at 13 minutes, so the big girl's going to need about 7 more minutes for them to get a win.
Right.
If numbers prove correct, and you know I love numbers and statistics, so
that's why I threw
I'm all
it
about that.
That's why I threw it your way. Let me throw this your way. How about Candace Parker, only 1 point in the first half?
I have no idea how CP3 is out there with 1 point, but you know what? That's the sign of a player making her teammates better. She's not walking around pouting. She's still doing all that she can, setting screens and getting boards. So I always say, listen, if you don't get the ball and you can't score, there's so many other things and aspects in the game that you can do to contribute. And she's doing that.
Yeah, you said that in the first half. We had to look at each other twice and kind of double check our stat monitor to make sure that that was right, because her presence is so big. No matter if she's scoring the basketball.
Huge, and she has 5 rebounds, you know, a few attempted block shots. What is that, 2 block shots? So, hey, there's more stats to be filled, and DeWanna Bonner also trying to fill up her stats line with 3.
Her first 3-point make of the game. She's got 12 points, shooting actually 2 of 16 from 10 feet and beyond in this series with Chicago. A lot of her buckets have come in and around the basket, and as we know, if you follow DeWanna Bonner's career, that's very unusual for her to shoot with that inefficient manner, so to speak, in the last couple of games.
And you got to give her a little bit of credit. With Jonquel Jones gone, nice 3 from Breon January. With Jonquel Jones gone, really, Bonner's playing out of position. She's usually that 3 who stretches the floor. She starts from the outside in, but here she is guarding inside. She's playing a much more physical game with Jonquel Jones gone. And therefore, when you're inside and you're playing a more physical game, what's the first thing that goes? Your legs and your outside shot. Sometimes a little bit more challenging. So this is a tough matchup in time for her with their best player, Jonquel Jones, gone.
Well, with the back-to-back 3-point makes here for Connecticut, they've suddenly retaken the lead here, 42-40. We got a jump ball coming up between, this will be interesting, Diamond DeShields, who's got some hops to her, up against Brianna Jones.
I'm going to put my money on DeShields. But I don't know. She got the ball, but her teammate didn't get it.
She jumped higher. We'll say that. Here's Jones looking to go baseline, and uh-oh is right.
I was feeling a block party coming, but Candace can't jump as high as she used to, but she still came up with it.
Tosses it away that time, right into the hands of Bonner. And numbers filling out here on this transition look for Connecticut, and Jones puts it through.
Nice job. Good ball movement. Bonner to January, and you wait. January could have shot that 3 ball, but instead she drops it off to Brianna Jones on the inside.
It's a 10-0 spurt here for Connecticut to start out the third quarter. So much like they did in the first quarter, boy, the start of this third quarter has been awfully good for the visitors. +4 for the Sun. Chicago Bulls guard Kobe White taking this one in. We wish him well after shoulder surgery. Also want to remind you too, NWSL soccer coming up. OL Reign head to North Carolina to take on the 2-time defending NWSL champion NC Courage. That's coming up next on CBS. And big note to that, the first game since 2019 when the stadium was open to full capacity.
Wow.
Yeah, so you hear the roar of the crowd there. You hear the roar of the crowd here on that Stevens miss. It's good to hear the roar of the crowd again.
It is great to see, to be out of the house for as long as I've been in the house, just to see the fans. And it's different though, you know, we all have our masks somewhere nearby, and people have been asking for autographs again and taking pictures. Nice, as Thomas finishes on the inside.
Yeah, she got the and one.
That was a nice drive. Nice penetration there. Oh, and Stevens just missed the block. Nice finish for Thomas. But it's different, right? Having the people out, people cheering, people want to take pictures. It's great.
This is only the second game that this building has actually been fully open in the city of Chicago. Just about a week and some change fully open. And certainly if the Sky team continues the momentum, you know, you might see this building get packed a little bit more. It's a beautiful building here at Wintrust Arena in the South Loop in the city. Well, it's about a little over 10,000 in capacity.
That would be great for more Chicagoans to come on out and support the WNBA.
Three-point play, and they're going to count the bucket as Bonner went down underneath the basket.
But it looks like there was an offensive foul underneath. So does the basket count? Oh, and then Stevens takes out Dwight Bonner. I don't know what kind of block out that was, but that was a little rough.
Well, they will count the bucket for Courtney Vandersloot. And Stevens picking up her second personal. Here's Stevens now trying to defend Brianna Jones, and a nice move around to the right side.
Nice job again. Brianna Jones has been doing work on the inside. They are missing Jonquel Jones, and the other Jones has stepped up.
Good catch. Good finish by Stevens.
Stevens, very solid. Good hands, nice pick and roll. Pick and roll has been very effective for Chicago as well.
4-point advantage here for Connecticut after they busted through the halftime locker room, scoring the first 10 points here of the quarter. That one running out for Jasmine Thomas.
And that time, Breon January coming up with a big rebound over Copper on the baseline.
And it's Copper's second.
Yeah, a little bit too much contact on that one.
Well, the physicality continues. We saw that from the jump. Bonner, that was a tough pass to try to handle that time. Tough angle, tough speed.
Yeah, and Thomas saw the pass, and the thought was correct, just a little too late.
Approaching about the midway point here of this third quarter. Again, Connecticut comes in with an 8-4 overall record. Chicago trying to get back to 500. They've won 4 straight. There's Hebert for 2 and cuts the lead to 2.
That was beautiful off the pick and roll. The Connecticut Sun decided to double team Hebert with a nice finish on the inside.
Hebert's only played 5 minutes. That's her first shot, first make, first points. As Bonner again is off the mark, but another look there for Jasmine Thomas in Connecticut.
Offensive rebounds, that's kind of been one of the keys for both teams, having that opportunity to get that second and third chance since they're not shooting that well from the three-point line.
Allie quickly from range. That one's short. Good rebound from Brianna Jones. Jones again getting the feed.
That time Jones just missed the mark, but look at Hebert running the floor.
She's not going to miss that.
And Vandersloot finds her streaking down the middle. Now you got to remember, she's one of the most efficient players last year, leading the league in field goal percentages with 68%. This year shooting 53%. And let's just check and see. This game, where is she?
2 for 2.
2 for 2.
And Hebert doing it defensively as well.
Well, Hebert here on the pick and roll does a nice job of finishing in traffic, might I say. The accuracy. And here again, guards coming over, eye on the basket. Hebert doing a great job. And I love what Coach Wade said to her, that she's a pleasant player to have, but make me play you. Tell me why you should not be sitting on the bench. And, well, Coach, she's answering the call.
Yeah, she was in the starting lineup when Candace Parker was not playing, when Steph Dolson was out qualifying for the Olympics, and now she's coming off the bench. But a true team player, according to her head coach. Here's Bonner with the kick out. Single digits now on the shot clock. And quick hands by Stevens, 4 left on the shot clock.
I really like this defensive lineup that Coach Wade has in. When you look at Stevens with her length at 6'6" down there, number 30. You have Hebert at 6'4", putting a lot of pressure, but their quickness also able to guard out on the perimeter.
There's that long length there, too, defending that three-point attempt. And Stevens leaking out on that for the easy two. We're tied again at 51.
And that was just textbook when you talk about contesting the shot. There, Stevens recognized that she was open, sprinted the floor. Again, another transition basket, and Connecticut has to call a timeout. And look at her, Stevens out there ahead of everybody. Thomas does what she can, but Stevens again able to finish. And that all started with her defense contesting Bonner's jumper and then running the floor. It was just a smart play for Stevens to get out ahead.
Well, Stevens was injured last year. James Wade told us that he still feels like she might not be totally 100%. But they were very specific to us in talking about their defense on DeWanna Bonner. You know, trying to avoid taking her to her left hand, which she always likes to do. Always closing out, having someone in her face with a three-point shot as well.
You can see, Lisa, how Stevens has the body type that could guard her. She's agile enough to stay out on the perimeter and play defense against a Bonner, but also strong enough to get inside as well as contest shots, block shots, and also grab rebounds.
Well, tied at 51, 3:38 left to play in the third quarter. Hey, Thursday, looking for some new laughs? How about United States of Al has joined the powerhouse CBS comedy lineup? Young Sheldon and Mom see why folks are saying everyone could use a friend like Al. United States of Al, the season finale this Thursday at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central on CBS. Sky Guy and the Sky fans liking this little bit of a comeback. We have yet to see a team here today keep a lead. Connecticut jumped out in the first quarter. Chicago responded in the second. Connecticut jumped out at the beginning of this quarter, and Chicago has responded in the last part of the third. Azurá Stevens has picked up her third personal.
Both teams doing a really nice job of executing their offense, and you can see the Sun doing a really good job with their screens, their picks going across, really trying to get their big girl that time, Jones, on the block. And what's tough is when you have Breon January at the one with a big and a small screen, sometimes that big has a tendency to run over that small, and that's just exactly what happened.
And again, there is acting head coach Brandy Poole, the acting head coach for Curt Miller, who told us this morning he's on his way back to Connecticut after taking care of his mother, who's been in the hospital. We hope that she can get CBS in the hospital. That was his hope as well, to watch this one. And Hebert gives Chicago the lead right back. But Brandy Poole has said she wants to be a head coach someday, and so this kind of experience and filling in for Curt Miller right now gives her great experience in going down low. That's more of what she needs, is some bench production.
Absolutely. Emma Cannon doing a nice job of finishing.
You can't get a sentence out of your mouth.
We cannot. Sloot, nice from three.
Courtney Vandersloot has found her distance shot. And a response back the other way.
So Natisha Heidemann comes back with the three. And it's just a battle right now. Before we talked about the first half, no one being able to really knock down a three. And now we have back-to-back threes as these teams fight for the win. But when you talk about Coach Poole and her talking about having the opportunity to be in this position as head coach right now while Coach Miller is gone, she talked about how difficult it is to be in that #1 seed and trying to figure out substitution and trying to figure out, she's usually just covering the offenses and now she's focused on offense and defense and who needs to sub in. Right now, when you look at Connecticut, they only have played 2 players off the bench with a total of 8 points. for bench points. I would think that she would look to her bench more, especially right now down the stretch, give Carrington an opportunity maybe to get into the game to help her team out and give them a breather as well.
Yeah, Dejanay Carrington did not play Thursday. She did not play Saturday. Brandy Poole told us that she would like to get her some minutes, but yeah, admitted to us that going over just a few inches to that head coaching seat is challenging, trying to figure it out. The one thing that Kurt Miller had told us this morning is the fact that he's so impressed with his staff, not only Brandy Poole, but Chris Clanis, who I mentioned, this is his scout. He is kind of the defensive specialist. And the two of them on Thursday and today are kind of working this game on Thursday and this afternoon as co-head coaches, if you will.
Which is great, because it's great when you have a coach that can keep their eye on one part of it, which is the offense, and then the other coach that can really specialize in your defense. Those are things that you want as Brianna Jones goes to the basket again. But the other hard part is managing time and substitution, and that is something that she really admitted was probably the most difficult part to deal with.
Allie quickly gets it to drop to tie it at 59.
I coach in the Big Three and have 5 players that I have to worry about substituting with 3 on the floor and 2 on the bench. I can only imagine what it's like having a roster of 10, 11 players that you're trying to rotate and get in and also be accountable for their time.
Bonner's got 14 points. It's always easier to be an armchair coach, right? Instead of actually being on the sideline. Hebert with a big bucket, and one, and a chance to take the lead for the Sky.
I love it. Hebert in her sophomore year says, I am ready to play, coach. Don't question when to put me in. Just put me in, because her ability to get to the basket, she is scoring and one. She does a nice job, and Brianna Jones just not enough to stop her on the inside.
James Wade has said about Ruthie Hebert, if we play her 10 minutes, she's going to go 3 for 3. If we play her 5 minutes, she's going to go 2 for 2. How about if they play her 9 minutes this afternoon, she's going 4 for 4.
Listen, I think that just screams, you better play her a lot more, because she's efficient, and you love that. He also talks about how great her attitude is no matter when she gets in. She's a team player all the time and ready to do her job.
Killer crossover move, drops it off to Bonner, who gets the bucket. Count it, +1. What a play for Connecticut.
DeWanna Bonner's backdoor cut is nice, and Hebert just incidental contact, but knocks her off of her feet. And guess what, folks? She's at the free throw line.
3 personal fouls now on Hebert. Remember, Steph Dolson has been sitting out for most of this third quarter. Picked up her 4th 21 seconds into the 4th, and there she is with her warm-up shirt on. "17 points now for Bonner. Jones just ahead of her with 18. Chicago has spread it out offensively. That's how they got it done, and Heidemann picks up the personal.
And I love this dribble drag play that Sky keeps coming with. You have Hebert, who is a big screener up top. She's rolling, so the last time she got the ball, Vandersloot keeps it this time, put a lot of pressure on Heidemann, who fouls her there.
Courtney Vandersloot once again on a double-double watch in terms of points and assists. She's already set the career WNBA record in that category. She's the kind of point guard that a post like you, I'm sure, would love to play with.
Oh man, the kind of point guard that pass first, you know, always one of my favorite. But when you get the ball back, who can knock down the 3, she's just a facilitator, and you can appreciate the type of guard that she is. Definitely puts you in the mindset of a Sue Bird, also, you know, one of the greatest, you know, point guards to play in the WNBA as well. Another great passing point guard I play with, Nikki Teasley, who could drop dimes, you know. So very fortunate when you play with a player who loves to pass the ball the way that Courtney Vandersloot does.
Well, tied at 64. Shot clock still is in play here on this possession. Just about a 3-second differential or so, almost 4 seconds. 5 to shoot. A hands, it was deflected by Hebert. Here's Stevens to Vandersloot. Tried the shovel pass. Chicago staying with it with .6 left to play. get a chance to take it out from the baseline.
And Chicago really doing a nice job being a little too unselfish, I'm sure, for Coach Wade saying, shoot the ball. But nice job of them just really sharing the ball.
And Stevens gets it off in time. James Wade wanted a foul call. Won't get it. And so this is exciting. Tied at 64 with the final 10 minutes left to play. We did get a foul call.
It looks like they're going to review it right now to see if the shot clock had ran out or not.
Well, James Wade was calling for it there on the sideline. And they may also be reviewing if there's going to be any sort of time left on the clock as well. Right now, it's sitting at 0.
Catch and shoot. Ooh, definitely enough time left on the clock. That looked pretty good to me. Let's see. Looks like the foul occurred there. Let's look at it from another angle. Oh yeah, on the arm. I think she's getting an opportunity to shoot a few free throws.
And the question, too, is it a 2 or is it a 3? It's a 2. She's inside the arc.
Definitely a 2.
Is there going to be any time left? And so that's what they're reviewing on the monitor, is if there's any time left on the quarter clock.
I believe there's going to be time on the clock. But let's see what the officials say, because that's not my job, although I have many.
I mean, talk about hard jobs. We've already discussed how maybe people underestimate the job of a head coach. How about the job of the officials that they have to do? Tara Cruz, Billy Smith, Angelica Suffren are the officials here this afternoon, and they do add 0.2 of a second left in the third quarter.
The officials doing a great job. Thank goodness for replay and the videos that they get an opportunity to get it right when it may be wrong, but they are definitely 100% correct this time.
All that technology that didn't exist in that first game that we saw at halftime.
Yeah, I'm sure they missed some fouls. I should have had more free throws. Anything to make up that deficit.
They give the foul to Emma Cannon. It's her second personal as Stevens knocks it down, and now with a 2-point advantage here for Chicago. Now we head to the fourth. It's been back and forth. Couple of key threes. Got Connecticut a little bit more momentum, and Hebert has been huge in the third quarter. We've got 10 more minutes to play between the sun and the sky. Kid Cam is still hot here for this afternoon. Let's take a look at the upcoming WNBA national TV schedule. Your eyes go down to that Washington-Dallas matchup.
Oh, yeah. Tina Charles getting it done on the inside. My girl, who just passed one of my records. I don't know what it is, but congratulations, Tina Charles. You know, I always sending you love. And Arike Ogumbawale putting in work. She is a phenomenal player. Fun to watch.
For more on those games, please go to the WNBA.com or, of course, visit the WNBA app. You know you have one too many records when you say, oh, just one of my records.
One of them.
I don't know which one.
I love it. Records are made to be broken. I'm never, you know, salty about that. I congratulate all the young ladies for putting in work, because I know it takes a lot of hard work and dedication to your craft and teammates to accomplish everything that we do.
Oh, Allie Quigley, hotly contested. It didn't matter. Knocks down the three from the corner.
Quigley, seasoned veteran, knocking down jumpers.
Oh, a much-needed bucket for her. Her first three-point make. She's looking for more. This is a 2 and a quick 5 points to get the fourth quarter humming.
Quigley with 13 points, doing a nice job. Again, off the bench, she's just so solid. Her ability to shoot the 3 ball, but also her mid-range game, and you don't want to foul her, folks. She shoots 90% from the free throw line.
Cannon, again, working the boards for Connecticut. We've got Kyla Charles trying to earn her playing time as a starter, and Cannon who's been kind of a journeywoman in the league, trying to earn her time coming off the bench. Nice feed there to Hebert, who hasn't missed a shot yet. And the kick out to Stevens, that's a 2.
And Stevens, I saw her warming up even before the game, shooting all those jump shots from the free throw line, outside, three-point shots. So she's definitely working on her perimeter game.
They got the body that time on Hebert. That'll be number 4 on Ruthie.
And Thomas does a nice job of just really getting into the body of Ruthie. You can tell that she would be able to block it up top, but it was that body contact down low, savvy guard. You always hate that as a big, but that's a part of it.
Jasmine Thomas to the free throw line. And Candace Parker checking back in now for Ruthie Hebert. A quiet scoring day. Still sitting on the 1 point for Candace. But you made the point to me at halftime, you know, Chicago, in a way, should feel some pride with that, being able to spread the scoring around with arguably their best player only scoring 1 point.
Absolutely, and Hebert did a great job coming in 4 for 5, 9 points, 4 steals. I mean, you know, that gives your veteran an opportunity to rest when you have such production from your bench players.
Off and running, the pass from Bonner to Jones for 2, and again, it's a 2-point ball game.
Connecticut said, you're not the only ones who can do a little transition offense here. Big girl running the floor.
Hand off to Allie Quigley, being defended there by January. She got the deflection. Bonner, you kind of get the feeling she wants to take it. And the closeout gives it back up to Jones. Over to Cannon for 3, missing everything. Well, in between Allie Quigley with that last bucket, surpassing Sylvia Fowles for most double-figure scoring games in Chicago Sky history with 160.
That's awesome. I bet you that's a stat Sylvia Fowles didn't even know she held until today. But that is so awesome.
You're probably right. Looks like the officials might have changed the possession call. It originally was ruled Chicago. They switched it to Connecticut now with 9 seconds on the shot clock. And January taking it deep inside. Parker got a piece and a double dribble call.
Wow. This is one of these situations where you need for your teams, whichever team can really get it together. Brianna and January just really forcing the ball to get to the basket, but then Copper gets it in double dribbles, thinking she's getting fouled. So right now, the team who can really have the poise to execute their offense will find more success.
Well, Steph Dolson now has checked back in, playing 13 minutes. Remember, she's playing with the 4 personal fouls now. And a foul there on Copper.
Well, Lisa, sometimes you got to win ugly, and right now these teams, and I think the most difficult thing is that they've just played on Thursday, so it is very tough, one, to beat a team back-to-back. It's very hard to do, to play the same team like it's the playoffs over and over, and they're having that experience right now. So it can get a little chippy, a little more physical than usual, just because you're a little bit tired of seeing the same team, one, and then you have Connecticut out here who's really not wanting to lose 2 in a row to the Chicago Sky.
6 to shoot here for Parker. She gives it up to Dolson, who just got off the bench. Misses everything, but stays with her own miss and beats the shot clock. How about that?
Well, that was the slowest slow motion layup I've ever seen.
And an offensive foul call.
And I respect Brianna Jones down there really trying to take it to Stephanie Dolson. She's a big body. I see she wants to get more physical. But here's the thing. You always have to wait for the ball to catch up to you. There's no reason to go and fight and battle when the ball is not even positioned to get to you. So that time, Brionna Jones just a little bit too much too early before her teammates were in position to get her the ball.
And so now Jones has picked up her fourth. Dolson wasn't ready for that pass.
But
And we've
Dolson
got another foul call, and that's the fifth on Dolson.
Oh my gosh, this is turning out to be like that. You have to just laugh because her teammate threw her the ball and she wasn't looking, so the ball.
And then she tried to hold off Brionna Jones. This is where she picked up her fifth. Well, Dolson stays in the game with 5 personals. Jones, as I had mentioned, has 4. So here we go. The double team coming.
Okay, the team who can score next will probably win. That's my prediction, Lisa, because this has been going back and forth so crazy. It's funny. Now here's Candace posting up strong on the inside and misses the layup.
Well, Parker's still looking for her first field goal of the day. Here's Thomas taking it inside. Off the glass, gets her own miss, and will bring it out. Kyla Charles has been quiet since the first half.
And right now, both teams really need to establish themselves and run an offense or a set. The game's going so fast, and each team really not taking the best shot possible. This is a time right now as a guard, I would stop and really set something up, unless you get an open layup like that. Thomas finding January underneath the basket for 2.
2-point game. And maybe this whistle will slow things down. The foul committed by Brianne January. We are set up for something special in the last 5 minutes and 13 seconds in Chicago. Chicago, what a difference Candace Parker can make.
Well, when you look at Candace Parker, right now we recognize that she only has 1 point. But right this point in her career, it's even more about her presence than her points. She gives the will to her team to make them feel like they can win. She makes them better. Her rebounding, her block shots. This is what she brings to the team.
James Wade told us last night in our Zoom conversation with him, she brings comfort to everyone, including myself.
Absolutely, and her leadership. I mean, to hear her voice out there, whether it's a screen, she's yelling right now, a screen coming, you hear her, you know she has your back out there, and she's making the best effort that she can. And again, you don't have, you know, young Candace Parker now. You have the veteran Candace Parker, and how many more years she'll play, I don't know. But having her presence on this team, she's definitely making Chicago, the Sky, and the fans happy.
Candace Parker, you see the 1.6 rebounds, 3 assists, but I love your phrase, presence over points. I think that's really poignant. And coming from someone, as we talked about, who's known her in the league since day one. Strong take there for Kyla Charles. And she draws the foul.
Charles has done a good job of putting a lot of pressure on Copper all game. I mean, she really has. She's been driving. Her defensive presence has not allowed Copper to really get loose the way that she's capable of. So bringing a lot of poise and defensive presence. But I like her aggressiveness to the basket as well.
You know, speaking of Lisa Leslie knowing Candace Parker on day one, how about these baby faces?
Yeah, hers is the baby face. That was my last day. I'm like, girlfriend, that's all I got.
I think you look the same, both of you.
I was ready to be done. Man, so we had a great time. Lots of laughs and loves forever.
Here is Parker. Hand off to Vandersloot, who takes it inside. Tied at 74. And here's Hebert. she'll make that even as well.
Hebert, what is she, 5 for 5? Oh, 4? No, yeah, she's 5 for 6. She's just so efficient on the inside. I knew Coach Wade was going to get her back in after she got a breather. They're really going to need her to help close this game out.
Mentioned that she has been a starter. She was playing starter minutes prior to the return of Candace Parker, and that's just Brianna Jones muscling her way in to create her own shot.
Brianna Jones, I can't say enough. If she didn't remind you of Natalie Williams, her ability to score on the inside is phenomenal.
And now we got a nice back and forth between Hebert and Jones.
Yeah, and Jones, again, 10 for 15, so she's been very efficient down there in the paint as well.
This certainly has been, Bonner was whistled for traveling, but this has been a competitive, hard-fought, tough WNBA basketball game we're showing you on CBS. Largest lead for Connecticut has been 11. Largest lead for Chicago has been 8. Into the corner for Diamond DeShields. A big bucket with 3 to play.
And DeShields really a quiet 10 points, but really efficient from the outside. I'd like to see her really start to try to take over more in this fourth quarter.
And a kick ball will reset the shot clock to 14 seconds.
And when you look at what Diamond DeShields brings to the team, that three-point shot is something the Sky needs to close out this game.
Soccer coming up next. The OL Reign head to North Carolina to take on the two-time defending NWSL champion NC Courage. That's coming up next on CBS. We still got 2:48 left to play here between Chicago and Connecticut. They're looking to feed Brianna Jones, who is now working off of a new career high, by the way, with the 22 points she's put up.
She's done a nice job. At that time, I believe a bounce pass from Bonner would have been a much better entry as opposed to trying to make it a direct pass, which she wasn't able to hold on to.
10 of 15 here for Brianna Jones. Her previous career high was 20 points. She did that a couple of times. And Jones ripping down the rebound. Hebert trying to create some mess defensively.
And I like it. Both teams putting a lot of pressure on that 3, 4, and 5 positions because they're trying to find that mismatch with the small guard screening, up screening. It's really difficult for those bigs to get over. So it's a very challenging position, and they have to decide whether they're going to switch or stay in trail.
Off the back heel. With 13 lead changes, 9 ties in this one. And right now a 5-point edge here for the Sky, looking to win its 2nd straight against Connecticut and its 5th straight. That's only been done 1 time in franchise history. Back in 2013, winning the 5 straight. Step away for Parker. It took all of this for her to get her first bucket in this game.
All afternoon, but I know she will take that field goal anytime before this game ends if it would help her team win.
Well, she was 0 for 5 in the game, but Candace Parker is 1 for 1 with under 2 minutes left to play.
And nice step back, too. Her team recognizing, I like the step back pull up. She said, DeWanna, come get some.
Look at that reaction.
Yeah, she's like, finally. Good gosh.
Here's Vandersloot with the pull-up. Clutch buckets for Chicago.
Nice 2-man game with Parker and Vandersloot really putting a lot of pressure on the defense. Again, that time Vandersloot keeping it, knocking down the jab.
Feeding Jones, she's been the ticket. Diamond DeShields comes over for the block. Bonner, this would be big for the Sun. It's not there.
I feel like Bonner's been rushing her three-point shot all game long, just a little bit, not really holding on to her follow-through.
And Charles stops the clock and is whistled for the foul.
I like this play where you see Diamond coming off of that double screen away. She does a nice job, again, curling to the basket, not settling for the jumper. There, Charles not able to really keep up, and the Shield just a little hang time in the air, just enough to get that foul called.
The definition of hang time is certainly different for certain players.
Absolutely.
And a nice hand for Courtney Vandersloot as she leaves the game. Another double-double. Points and assists. 18 points, 11 assists. It's her 5th double-double of the season. But her 43rd time in her career that she's had a points, assists, double-double, and that is a WNBA record.
That's awesome. I've never had that. I can say that. I've never had 10 assists in my whole life, in my career, but that is to be admired, because when you look at a player who loves to pass the way that she does, and she does such a nice job, you got all these pick and rolls, and she's able to find her players, hitting the post players, streaking down the court in the fast break points. Like, every time she's passed the ball, it's been money. And I mean, the other thing to look at is the turnovers, right? Like, the efficiency that she has, and how many turnovers does she have personally, you know? I don't know what that number is exactly, but it can't be that many.
Well, how about one?
One. There you go.
11 assists to one turnover.
Look at that.
And that, quite frankly, is something that she had struggled with early in the year. You could argue that in the absence of Stephanie Dolson, Candace Parker, Allie Quigley, that maybe Courtney Vandersloot was trying to do a little bit too much.
Yes.
And her turnovers per game went up a little bit at the beginning of the year. Well, this Connecticut Sun team playing shorthanded without Jonquel Jones, without their head coach, Curt Miller, definitely putting up a fight this afternoon in Chicago.
Well, they're doing a nice job of everything that they can. And again, we can't say it enough, with Jonquel Jones gone, that 21 points, that 10 rebounds, they're missing. It may be a whole different ball game. And hopefully these two teams will have a chance to maybe see each other again down the road for the playoffs. But it's tough for them to try to make up those points that are missed. And then when you look at the bench, having only two players scoring off the bench with 10 bench points, that's going to hurt you down the stretch. And I think that's something that Connecticut will have to take a look at.
It's been combo work there at the head coaching spot to try to fill in the place of Curt Miller, who has told us that he was visiting his mother in the hospital. But you see Chris Koklanis and Brandy Poole kind of working a tag team head coaching responsibilities here today. And of course, we wish Curt Miller's mother all the very best. Coach Miller telling us that he's on his way back, was on his way back this morning to Connecticut, and again hopes to rejoin the team maybe as early as for Monday's practice, after, of course, he abides by the league's COVID protocols.
And I'm sure when Coach Miller gets back, the level of appreciation for what everybody does, their jobs, will be even more, with Coach Poole being able to go back to what she normally does and just focusing on the offense. Will be a relief, because there's nothing like the voice of your head coach. No matter what other coaches step in, they just bring a certain level of intensity that's really hard for another coach to generate for a team. And I think Connecticut did all they could, though. They've worked hard. They played very hard for their coaches, and are right there. And then we spoke a little bit about Alyssa Thomas, but what she brings to this ball club is just, now you're talking about contending. They have the opportunity to do that if all their players were here.
And they ran into arguably one of the hottest teams here in the WNBA, the Chicago Sky, who have gotten healthier, have gotten their reinforcements back, whereas Connecticut doesn't have Alyssa Thomas or Jonquel Jones or their head coach.
Yep.
Chicago is getting stronger and better and more efficient, and just the way that James Wade was picturing this as a GM and as a head coach when he was putting this roster together.
He's done a great job. And as you look at, for me, I look at the young players that you have, with Dana Evans. Again, her rookie year, her ability to shoot, new to the league, but she has some time when you get a chance to work every day with a Courtney Vandersloot, who's an amazing veteran. Look at how much she's going to learn. Then you have Stevens, Azurá Stevens, who has an opportunity to work with Candace Parker, and look how much she's going to learn. And then Ruthie Hebert, same thing. So Chicago continue to get better, but also the veterans who are there helping these young players get better. Wow, look how much better they're going to be down the stretch.
James Wade wanted his picture with you. You're going to have to take a snapshot with him before you leave the building.
For sure.
A 10-point win for Chicago, and the Sky, just like that, have won 5 straight for the second time in franchise history. (91-81). Chicago had to have a couple of responses, only scoring 12 points in the first quarter and surviving a major surge at the beginning of the third quarter where Connecticut scored the first 10 points. And you made the comment, Chicago looked a little bit sluggish at the beginning, but they certainly picked things up.
They really did, and you have to give Connecticut a lot of credit. They came out, they fought hard, they kept taking the ball to the basket, and they were the aggressors. And when that switched right around the second quarter, I thought Chicago did a much better job of making sure that Connecticut was one and done. Rebounding, they were able to get out in those transition offensive buckets. Easy baskets is what really changed the momentum of this game.
Look at the Paul head coach Doug Bruno getting some FaceTime, walking off the court. Hey, we will wrap things up after this quick timeout. Again, a 10-point win for Chicago over Connecticut. You're watching WNBA basketball on CBS.